Now at 10, after being convicted of murdering his wife in Mexico, former Survivor producer Bruce Beresford Redman is out of prison and home in Southern California. We've got the exclusive details.
Plus, a brazen robbery at a crowded Best Buy store. The shoplifter's shocking escape caught on camera.
And a family devastated and demanding answers after their puppy mysteriously dies while in the care of a dog sitter. What happened to the 9-month-old pug? It's a story you'll see only on 5, now on the news at 10. Good evening, I'm Micah Ullman.
And I'm Cher Calvin. He was convicted of murdering his wife during a family vacation in Cancun, Mexico.
Tonight, Survivor producer Bruce Beresford Redman is out of prison and back home in Southern California. KTLA's Mary Beth McDade spoke exclusively to the father of 2 outside his home. MB?
Well, Mike and Jared, sources in Cancun tell us that Bruce Beresford Redman was actually released from a Cancun prison 2 months ago. Bruce Beresford Redman is back in Southern California. We asked him what it was like to be back home.
Thanks, I really have no comment. I appreciate your interest.
The best part about being back home?
Thank you, there's no comment.
Bruce, a former reality show producer for such shows as Survivor, was convicted in the killing of his wife Monica at a Cancun resort back in 2010. He was sentenced to prison for 12 years, and now after serving 7.5 years in a Mexican prison, he's back home with his mother and 2 children. Both Bruce and his mother have always maintained his innocence, despite being found guilty by the Mexican authorities.
The whole premise that he would kill his wife in the hotel room where his children were, leave her in the room the entire day, come in and out with the children, and then when they were asleep, try to carry that dead weight of a body in front of all these rooms down this hill into a septic area he didn't even know existed. You know? So, I mean, it is just stupid.
Monica was found beaten, strangled, and naked inside a sewer at the Moon Palace Resort, where the couple was vacationing with their children in April of 2010. Bruce was initially questioned by Cancun authorities, but released. He then returned home to Rancho Palos Verdes. He was extradited to Cancun in February of 2012 to face the murder charge and began serving time in one of Mexico's most dangerous prisons. Now, despite being sentenced to 12 years for killing his wife, he's back home after 7.5 years behind bars. And I reached out to Monica's sisters through their attorney, and they have no comment. For now, reporting live here, Mary Beth McDade. We'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Mary Beth, thank you. Another blow tonight to USC's athletic program. Lynn Swann has resigned as the university's athletic director after a tumultuous 3 years at the helm of one of the nation's most prestigious athletic departments. Swann's resignation is effective immediately. Dave Roberts, who previously served as the university's vice president of athletics compliance, will take over temporarily.
KTLA 5's Chip Yost has the details now from the USC campus.
Tyler Vance is into the end zone for a touchdown.
Just 2 days after a huge victory over Stanford, giving the Trojans a 2-0 record to start the season, news came that USC athletic director Lynn Swann had resigned, effective immediately. While the timing may have caught people off guard, the news isn't terribly surprising. It's been a rough couple of years for Swann's department. 2 years ago, USC assistant basketball coach Tony Bland was arrested by FBI agents and later pled guilty to, as this government news release put it, accepting a cash bribe in return for steering college players on his team to corrupt financial advisors. That was followed this year by the even bigger college admissions scandal, where Swann's senior associate athletic director and the school's women's water polo coach were both fired after being indicted in the probe. On top of that, both the football team and basketball team posted losing records last year. Still, in a letter announcing his departure, USC's new president focused on the positive, saying, "Lynn has led our athletics department to 5 national championships in 5 different women's and men's sports during his tenure. Our student athletes' cumulative GPA for the past 2 years and our graduation rate of 86% last year were all-time highs for USC athletics. We appreciate Lynn's leadership of the department over these past 3 years and will continue to be grateful for his historic contributions to USC. Chip Yost, KTLA 5 News.
The California Assembly has unanimously passed landmark legislation that could forever change college athletics. The bill would allow student athletes to hire agents and earn money from the use of their name, image, or likeness. The measure is a direct challenge to the NCAA's long-standing rules on eligibility. Currently, college athletes must maintain an amateur status. USC, UCLA, and Stanford oppose the bill. The Senate must vote on the measure by Friday. If it becomes law, the NCAA has threatened to make California universities ineligible for national championships.
The former USC gynecologist charged with sexually assaulting more than a dozen patients has officially surrendered his license to practice medicine. According to the state medical board, George Tyndall turned in his license on Thursday. Tyndall was already under a judge's order not to practice medicine while he awaits trial on more than 24 felony counts that happened between 2009 and 2016. He could face a maximum of 53 years in state prison if convicted as charged.
Some new details about the deadly dive boat disaster off Santa Cruz Island. The Justice Department now confirms it's part of an investigation into the Labor Day fire that killed 34 people. The criminal probe was first reported by the LA Times and involves the FBI, Coast Guard, and other federal agencies. Agents searched the offices of the boat's owner on Sunday. The Times says investigators are looking for possible safety issues on the boat. 5 crew members who were sleeping on deck survived the fire. A 6th crew member and 33 passengers died. Salvage operations will resume Wednesday, weather permitting.
Let me get a backup. 450 man with a gun. 47 and bundle.
Body cam video captures the officer-involved shooting of a man in South LA back in July. The LAPD says gang suppression officers were patrolling Vermont Square Park when a man later identified as 39-year-old Jerron Edmond ran from them. Officers chased him into the courtyard of an apartment building where police say he pulled a gun. Edmond was shot by officers and taken to a hospital in stable condition. The shooting is being investigated.
A brazen daylight robbery captured by surveillance cameras. A store employee chases the thief, but the struggle for the stolen goods ends when he pulls a knife and pepper spray. Now authorities are turning to the public for help in finding this dangerous man.
KTLA 5's Narissa Knight joins us live from West LA with the latest. Narissa?
Well, Sharon, Micah, that's right. A man was caught on surveillance video here whom LAPD detectives are now searching for. They say he steals, then pulls out a weapon to get away with his stash.
If I was working security here, I wouldn't risk my life over that item.
When this man with his camel-colored bag walked into the Best Buy store in West LA Friday, some employees say they recognized him from a previous incident at the store in the 11,300 block of West Pico Boulevard. The suspect, after pretending to shop, walked to the cell phone counter claiming he wanted to buy 2 cell phones. When the employee placed the phones on the counter, the man snatched them up, stacked them, then tossed them into his satchel. When he bolted toward the exit like a running back as if the bag was a pigskin, another employee, defensive back tried to block the suspect. The struggle over the bag containing the cell phone spilled outside into the parking lot. At one point, the bag hit the pavement as the 2 men tussled. Right when the employee seemed to have a grip on the goods, the suspect then whipped out a knife and pepper spray from his satchel and pointed it at the employee, who hightailed it back into the store. At that point, the suspect then took off on foot with his hot cell phones westbound through the parking lot and due north on Corinth Avenue.
It's unfortunate. I wish people would not obviously feel the need to steal things. I don't know what's going on with them at home.
The guy was obviously hell-bent on getting out of there with that merchandise and willing to hurt somebody to do it.
LAPD detectives say the suspect has struck before.
It's a very big concern because obviously this man is very desperate and he wants to get away with property.
Police say they want the public's help in identifying the suspect before someone's hurt.
If you see this individual, please don't stop him. Just call the police. He's considered armed and dangerous.
There's really no excuse for it. Honestly, people here every day, hard-earned money, shouldn't have to deal with that.
The employee is pretty shaken up tonight, and thankfully no one was hurt over those iPhones. The LAPD is asking anyone who recognizes that robbery suspect to give them a call on their Crime Stoppers line at 1-800-222-TIPS. And I'm told you can remain anonymous. Live in West LA, Narissa Knight, KTLA 5 News.
Narissa, thank you. A manhunt is underway for the gunman who opened fire outside a house party, killing one man and wounding 2 women. It happened around 1:30 this morning near Manzanita and Vallecito Drives in Hacienda Heights. LA County Sheriff's deputies say the 33-year-old man died at the scene. The woman shot in the upper torso is recovering tonight. The other woman suffered only minor injuries. Deputies are searching for a dark-colored SUV. Neighbors say the party house is an Airbnb rental that has hosted several loud parties in the past.
Left in the care of a dog sitter, a beloved puppy is now dead, and his owners are demanding answers. The pug named Shrimp was left behind while his owners traveled abroad.
When they returned, Shrimp's body was found in a plastic tub. Casey Montoya live tonight in Mid-Wilshire with a heartbreaking story you'll see only on 5. Casey.
Yeah, they say they still don't know what happened to their puppy. And if something went wrong, why wasn't he rushed to a vet? Instead, his lifeless body left outside to decompose. And they tell me that they had met this dog sitter before. They even took their dogs to his house for a trial before vacation. Tonight, they say they are still in shock at this entire situation.
My heart, it just dropped. I couldn't believe it.
Constance Melkonian and her boyfriend Victor Resnick came home from a trip to Spain Saturday night to the worst news imaginable. When they landed, they had a text from their dog sitter saying, "Call me."
And we called immediately, and he told us that Shrimp had died.
Shrimp was their 9-month-old pug. They left him and their 5-year-old boxer with a dog sitter they found on rover.com while they went on vacation.
He told me Shrimp had been dead since yesterday. This dog sitter caretaker had put my 9-month-old pug puppy in a bin and left it for over 24 hours in the heat outside.
While they were still at the airport, Victor had his sister rush to the dog sitter's house in Los Feliz to pick up their other dog, still unsure what had happened.
I asked, how did he die? He said, I don't know. I just walked in the house and he was dead on the floor.
Nobody like this should be around any kind of animals. Like, it was, gross negligence and abusive, and to leave a dog decomposing in your front yard for 48 hours is disgusting.
Constance says when they finally got to the dog sitter's house to get Shrimp's remains, he refused to come outside to talk to them until they got police involved.
To think that he suffered and died without anybody trying to help him or pay attention to him.
A Rover spokesman says pet care providers on the platform are not Rover employees, but independent business owners who have to pass a background check and complete a safety quiz. This grieving couple was shocked at the response they got from the Seattle-based company with a current valuation of $925 million.
Yeah, Rover gave us a $100 credit to get a new dog walker. To vet new dog walkers were the words that they used. And they said that they can't provide us with any further information because of their confidentiality policy.
Victor and Constance say they want other Rover customers to know about this tragedy so it doesn't happen to anyone else.
It's not about anything monetary. It's about just holding people accountable and getting some sort of justice for Shrimp, because it's heartbreaking.
Now, they suspect he died from heat stroke because it was so hot here in Southern California the week they were gone, but they're having trouble getting someone to do a necropsy so they can really find out what happened. A spokesman from Rover says this dog sitter has been removed from their platform, and my attempts to reach out to him tonight were unsuccessful. Back to you.
Casey Montoya live for us tonight. Thank you. A Montebello man convicted of what prosecutors call a savage and unprovoked attack on a fellow bus passenger was found guilty of first-degree murder today. Bus surveillance video shows Manuel Ortiz Jr. standing on the bus when he suddenly lunged toward a fellow rider, stabbing him repeatedly. The victim died 2 days after the attack. Sentencing for Ortiz is set for next month. He faces 30 years to life in prison.
Inglewood police are investigating the apparent drowning of a missing 9-year-old boy with autism. Xavier Dion Portis was reported missing by his mother after disappearing at Vincent Park yesterday. About 20 officers, bloodhounds, and a helicopter searched for the boy through the afternoon and evening without success. Officers say neighborhood kids found the boy's body at the bottom of the park's pool at about 10 o'clock last night. Police say this is likely a tragic accident, but they are still investigating.
3 firefighters were injured battling a massive fire at a fabric house in downtown LA early this morning. Crews responded to the fire on East 7th Street just after midnight. Flames were so intense they caused part of the roof to collapse, but crews were able to keep the flames from spreading to adjacent businesses. 2 firefighters were treated for non-life-threatening injuries and a third for exhaustion. The cause is still under investigation.
Time now for a first look outside tonight with meteorologist Vera Jimenez. Vera.
Thank you, Micah. Let's go ahead and take a look at some, the view from downtown Los Angeles and also the high over downtown Los Angeles this afternoon. Slightly below average. The temperatures were cooler. We are going to experience a cooler weather pattern the first half of the week because of a strong onshore flow from a trough of low pressure that's passing to our north. We're also going to see a deeper marine layer that's going to help keep us cool at least through tomorrow. Wednesday will also be a cooler day. Then by Thursday, things will begin to change as we see a ridge of high pressure move back into Southern California. So I'll have those details for you coming up.
Thank you, Vera. Hurricane Dorian's death toll in the Bahamas has climbed to 50 from the Category 5 storm that plowed through the island nation last week. Thousands of people remain missing. Rescue workers are going door to door, and U.S. Coast Guard helicopters are evacuating critically injured residents. Meanwhile, relief efforts for survivors are underway on the battered Abaco Islands and Grand Bahama Island. One man shared how memories of Dorian still haunt him.
Then we, sorry. A few people reported us dead, but we're all still here.
So far, more than 1,000 Bahamians have arrived in Miami as part of a humanitarian effort, but President Trump has dismissed the idea of allowing more to enter the U.S. without a visa.
The last of the crew members trapped on a capsized cargo ship have been safely rescued.
Woo! Yeah!
The Coast Guard extracted the final 4 men today through a small hole cut in the vessel's hull. The ship overturned on its port side and caught fire yesterday off the coast of Georgia. The South Korean crew was transporting 4,000 automobiles. Environmentalists are concerned the accident could have a devastating impact on coastal wildlife.
Catastrophic, actually. This area is actually a part of a toxic legacy in general. We have multiple Superfund sites, so this is just another blow to this coast, and it will destroy it.
The cause of the accident is still under investigation, and it could take a couple of weeks before the ship is uprighted and removed from the shipping lanes.
President Trump says peace talks with the Taliban in Afghanistan are off the table, at least for now. The president says he canceled a secret Camp David meeting with Afghan and Taliban leaders over the weekend after the killing of a U.S. soldier. Some in Congress have questioned why he would even consider such a meeting, especially now.
To bring the Taliban on the eve of the 18th anniversary of September 11th is about as outrageous as it gets.
We had a meeting scheduled. It was my idea, and it was my idea to terminate it. I didn't discuss it with anybody else.
On Twitter, the president denied reports that Vice President Mike Pence and National Security Advisor John Bolton had advised him not to hold the Camp David meeting.
Still ahead on the KTLA 5 News at 10, a high-speed hazard.
Disturbing cell phone video caught this Tesla driver asleep behind the wheel. Why police say it's dangerous and could be deadly, but not illegal.
We got a pit, roll over. Shut down traffic, pit, roll over.
A heart-pounding pursuit ends in a takedown of wanted men. Their suspected connection to a $1 million multi-state crime spree.
Combating the homeless crisis with a controversial new proposal, the plan that would make many city sidewalks off limits.
Raiders make a Monday night statement, a thriller in New Orleans. Big night in the NFL. We got all your highlights, and the Rams unveil the Gurley plan. We'll hear from Sean McVay. Plus, more on the big changes at SC. Lynn Swann is out, but what does it mean for the Trojans? It's all coming up.
Tonight, it's all the talk from Toronto. The star-studded mystery Knives Out premieres at TIFF. We'll give you a preview coming up in entertainment.
I'm gonna laugh instead of cry. I'm gonna take the town and turn it upside down. I'm gonna live until I die. They're gonna say, what a guy. I'm gonna play for the sky. Ain't gonna miss a thing. I'm gonna have my fling. I'm gonna live until I die. The blues I love.
Got a pit, roll over. Shut down traffic, pit, roll over.
A wild pursuit in Wisconsin ended with a spectacular crash. A van containing 4 men wanted for burglary flipped over after officers used a pit maneuver. Moments earlier, investigators say the 4 men ransacked a Best Buy store. The break-in triggered a silent alarm. Officers arrived just as the men were leaving, and the chase was on. Investigators believe the suspects are part of a large criminal ring responsible for $1 million in thefts across 3 states.
The Toronto International Film Festival kicked off this past weekend, premiering the films that are expected to be in this season's award talks.
And one of those films is the star-studded murder mystery Knives Out. Our Doug Cole gives us a preview of this humorous whodunit in tonight's entertainment report.
Well, good evening. You know, the initial reviews of Knives Out are fantastic, and the cast is quick to credit writer-director Rian Johnson.
I'm Detective Lieutenant Elliott, and this is Trooper Wagner. We just want to ask a few questions. We understand the night of his demise, the family have gathered to celebrate your father's 85th birthday.
Well, Ryan's a fantastic director. I mean, that's half the battle when you're picking a script. It's not so much about what's on the page, it's more about who's actually the quarterback.
How was it, by the way?
The party? Pre my dad's death? Oh, it was great.
I just read it. It was funny. It was something I hadn't read something like that before, and I was just, you know, over the moon that he offered it to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to request that you all stay until the investigation is completed.
What? Can we ask why? Has something changed?
No.
No, it hasn't changed, or no, we can't ask.
Each character was so perfectly drawn, complete, whole, and I just found my character hilarious.
You think one of his family
Walls.
killed? Is that what you're suggesting? You all love twisting the knife into one another.
You're on the edge of your seat trying to figure it out, and in the meantime, you get to laugh a lot.
You know something. Spill it.
I suspect foul play. I have eliminated no suspects.
The freshness, I think, will be in the filmmaking. The script just felt fun, and I was honestly privileged to be asked to be a member of the tribe.
Knives Out heads to theaters nationwide November 27th. With your entertainment report, Doug Kolk, KTLA 5 News.
All right, Doug, thank you. Coming up, sleeping your way to a healthier heart.
The magic number of naps per week, scientists say, cuts your risk of heart attack and stroke.
We'd rather be on the moon tonight. Say hello from the control room tonight. Don't want gravity.
From star power to girl power, why NASA interns remixed Ariana Grande's hit song to promote its next lunar mission. Now at 10:30, thousands sleep on LA's sidewalks and streets every night, but a controversial new plan would ban the homeless from sleeping in many parts of the city. The proposal would prevent people from sleeping within 500 feet of schools, parks, and other areas, about 25% of the city.
KTLA's Corrine Winter reports on which areas might be affected.
LA City sanitation crews say it's an endless cycle, cleaning up abandoned parts of the city that have been taken over by homeless encampments, littered in debris and trash. This one by inactive railroad tracks near Western Avenue in South LA. City council leaders are considering a proposal, a ban to stop the homeless from sleeping on streets and sidewalks within 500 feet of schools, parks, daycare centers, and other designated venues. A move Mayor Eric Garcetti, who spoke at an event aimed at providing more assistance to the homeless, called premature.
You can't just push homelessness from one place to another. I think it's premature to talk about moving people when we don't have any place to move them to. Your problem today becomes my problem tomorrow, and that solves nothing. That's why I'm putting all my energy this year into 13,000 new units of housing.
The mayor at this morning's event announced the creation of new housing units for needy families, with the construction of other projects underway. Some critics believe this proposed ban, which city council members are weighing, would limit housing options for the displaced with no access to cars or shelters, and who are forced to sleep on street benches or in makeshift accommodations such as tents. While the mayor admitted there should be restrictions in place to limit dwelling like this that leads to safety and sanitation concerns, he insists a humane approach must be taken to tackling homelessness.
We are working now, we're paying folks who are unhoused and homeless to actually clean up areas like Skid Row. That's part of the solution. We're doing regular cleanup so they know when that happens, and we're not going to stop cleaning up just because somebody is living in a tent. That said, permanently forcing people to go from one place to the next while they're trying to get out of homelessness doesn't solve the problem.
Corrine Winter, KTLA 5 News.
In tonight's Health Smart, there's new evidence that daytime naps may be linked to a lower risk of heart attack or stroke, but only if they're limited to a few times a week. Swiss researchers followed 3,500 people living in Switzerland. They were all between 35 and 75 years old and basically healthy without any evidence of heart disease, and none were overly sleep deprived. The findings showed that occasional nap frequency was linked to a 48% lowered risk of heart attack, stroke, or heart failure. Nap length did not appear to influence the findings and included anything from a quick 5-minute cat nap to an hour-long snooze.
They may be the wave of the future, but self-driving cars are causing some fright on the freeways. A commuter in Massachusetts did a double take when he spotted this driver asleep at the wheel. The man had his head down and his eyes shut while cruising along the Massachusetts Turnpike in a self-driving Tesla. The makers of self-driving cars say operators should always remain alert with both hands on the wheel, even when in autopilot mode. The guy who shot the video was simply stunned.
I should record this, and then I thought I shouldn't record this because it's also unsafe, but it was just so bizarre that I was like, I have to get this on video. It was strange, you know, like it looked like they needed to go home and go to bed.
This isn't the first time we've seen someone snoozing behind the wheel of a self-driving car. Just a couple of weeks ago, a driver here in Southern California captured someone zonked out while cruising down the 5 freeway.
Oh. Straight ahead on the news at 10 and 11, stolen in seconds.
A crew of sticky fingers runs into a convenience store stealing whatever they can get their hands on. The search tonight for these flash mob robbers. Plus, Vera.
Thank you, Micah. We'll also be looking at that extended forecast. We are expecting to continue with this cool pattern at least for the next couple of days. And then, well, we're going to see a change as we always do, and that means warmer temperatures by the end of the work week. And I'll have those details coming up.
Hounds hanging 10, the dog surf competition hitting the waves in Southern California.
We'd rather be on the moon tonight. Say hello from the control room tonight. Don't want gravity pulling on us tonight. Up here floating, we just feel so free tonight. Think we're
NASA is looking to a different kind of star to help get young people excited about space. A group of NASA interns rewrote and remixed Ariana Grande's song called What Else? NASA. It is from her 2019 album, Thank You. The space agency posted the video to its Facebook page and YouTube, hoping to revive interest and excitement in the Artemis lunar exploration program. That is NASA's plan to get the first woman and next man back on the moon by 2024.
Not far off.
No.
We deal in days here with a forecast and a good one tomorrow.
Definitely a good one, yes, because we're enjoying the cooler weather, especially after last week's heat and humidity. So we are going to see those temperatures continue to cool down because of a trough of low pressure that's passing to our north. But before we get to those details, you guys know the drill. It's out to the weather photo. We've got a great one from Yucaipa. Stan Lovingfoss, one of our regulars, sent this beautiful picture of those lovely cirrus clouds. Those are those really, really thin, wispy clouds that reside in the mid and mostly the upper levels of the atmosphere. And the reason why they are like that is because there is such strong wind up there that it shears everything off and it doesn't actually let them develop and build because they're constantly getting shaved off. So, so that's what they end up looking like. They're fabulous little clouds. And sometimes if there's a circular motion associated with them, those cirrus clouds turn out to end up looking like little space saucers, and we call those lenticular clouds. Very beautiful looking. I'm sure you've seen them. They're not uncommon. 70 degrees over downtown Los Angeles, calm winds right now, 69 in Fullerton, clear skies there, 67 in Ontario, starting to see a bit of haze there, and Camarillo still clear and 67 degrees. So as we take a look at our weather chart, there's our area of low pressure. Here's the associated cold front. It is bringing in that onshore flow, that sea breeze. It's going to be stronger again tomorrow. It's also going to bring a deeper marine layer. In fact, by tomorrow morning, we are going to see some gusty winds because of that strong onshore flow. Places like the Antelope Valley, places like Barstow, our desert communities are going to see occasional wind gusts to 30 and 40 miles per hour. And in the morning to start the day, you are going to see the marine layer return. As we go ahead and continue to advance it, you can see that it's going to push beyond the coast and the coastal basin up against the San Gabriels. It'll make it into the San Fernando Valley. Parts of the Santa Clarita Valley will also see that. And not only that, but that right there, that little green blob indicates that we could also see a little bit of drizzle. How about that? I love that. All right, overnight temperatures, here you go. Not bad at all. We're looking at 67 degrees in Santa Ana. As we take a look at the coast, we're looking at mid 60s, mid to upper 60s anyway. And a little further inland, 50s. Tomorrow's daytime highs, again, will still be pleasant because we are going to see warmer temperatures the second half of the work week. 78 degrees in Newhall. Along the coast, we're looking at mid 70s. And as we take a look at that 7-day forecast, we'll start in the San Fernando, San Gabriel Valley. Pretty much on par for you guys. Nothing is going to be different. You are both going to wake up to cloudy skies. Temperatures will be below average by almost 10 degrees. That is really cool. But take a look. If you like it warmer, wait till Thursday, Friday, back into the 90s. LA Coastal Basin, we're looking at 78 degrees tomorrow, 86 and 89 on Thursday and Friday. You'll peak on Saturday with 91. For the Inland Empire, gusty afternoon winds, low 80s, 10 degrees below average tomorrow. But then by Friday, you're 8 degrees above average. So that's a big swap. How about Orange County? 79 tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, especially through the morning, and then up to 93 on Friday and Saturday.
All right. Going to be hot on the weekend, that's for sure. Also hot, the Raiders.
Yeah, they look good tonight, right?
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming for Raider fans. Silver and black make a Monday night statement and a thriller in New Orleans. We got all your NFL action coming up. And the Rams unveil the Gurley plan. Fantasy owners may not be happy. We're going to hear from Sean McVay. And big changes at SC. Lynn Swann is out. What does it mean for the Trojan faithful going forth? And what to do if you're one of those Raider fans who bought an Antonio Brown jersey. The viral solution trending tonight. Coming up.
Now, KTLA 5 Sports Final with Darren Horton, powered by your Southern California Ford dealers.
What a week for the Raiders. John Gruden said he did everything he could to get Antonio Brown on a field in a Raiders uniform, but it didn't happen. He was released on Saturday morning. 5 hours later, he was signed by the Patriots, and for Raider fans, c'est la vie. The band plays on tonight. John Gruden finally got to focus on football. Broncos in the black hole. First drive, first score. Derek Carr on the money to Tyrell Williams. It was 7-0 after one. Second quarter action. They are back for more. Carr going upstairs, a 43-yard dime to Williams again. A.B. Hu and the rookie Josh Jacobs finishes off the drive over the top. Silver and black up 14-zip. Jacobs, a fantasy star, over 100 yards from scrimmage, a couple of touchdowns, including this one in the fourth. Raiders win it 24-16. Afterwards, John Gruden celebrated with the black hole.
Antonio is no longer with us, and we love Antonio. We wish him the best. But we knew with the guys we had in our locker room, we already had a good football team. And if he wanted to be a part of it, awesome. If he didn't, awesome. You know, we're going to come out here and we still have to play a game, you know.
And then there was the first game in New Orleans. That was probably the best game of week one. Saints trailing the Texans by 4 in the fourth. Here comes Drew Brees. It's Traquan Smith for 6. They would add a Will Lutz field goal. They had a 6-point lead, under a minute to play. Back came the Texans. Deshaun Watson, a strike to Andre Hopkins. This is good for 38. And then a perfect strike to Kenny Stills, 37-yard touchdown. They take a 1-point lead, 37 seconds to go, and it came down to this. Will Lutz from 58 yards out to win it. That thing would have gone through from 65. Saints win a thriller, 30-28, your final. Rams kicked off the new season with a 30-27 win in Charlotte yesterday. One of the big takeaways is that running back. Looks like Todd Gurley's role is going to be dramatically different. No more of the solo workhorse like we saw last season early on. Malcolm Brown got a lot of carries, 11 rushes, 53 yards, 2 touchdowns. Gurley, 14 carries for 97. Brown's contribution can't be overstated. Here's Sean McVay.
He's been a guy that every single opportunity he's gotten, you know, you forget how good he was playing early on in the year when he was spelling Todd. And he happened to have 11 carries, and you talk about 53 tough earned yards, you know, some physical runs, especially down in the tight red area where he gets 2 touchdowns, and then he has some good efficient runs that enable us to get tighter and tighter. And we were really pleased with Malcolm yesterday.
The Chargers also victorious in week one, though it didn't come easy. The team needed overtime to polish off the Colts without having Melvin Gordon. The team didn't miss a beat. His understudy, Austin Eckler, had himself a day. 3 touchdowns, including the game-winning score. Head coach Anthony Lynn says they got to work on the other side of the ball.
We definitely have to improve in our run defense. You know, was not happy with that. 33 rushes for 203 yards. We got some new guys in the lineup, so I know as those guys get more reps, especially game reps, that's going to improve. That's going to get a lot better. I have complete confidence in Gus Bradley and his defensive staff in getting that done.
All right, when a new sheriff comes to town, typically they like to hire their own deputies. Such is the case with NEWSC President Carol Folt. She took over in March, and today Athletic Director Lynn Swann submitted his resignation, effective immediately. During Swann's 3-year tenure, the Trojan Athletic Department has been marred in a widespread admissions scandal, as well as a basketball corruption probe. On top of that, the prideful football program has not lived up to its lofty expectations in recent years. The school has put together a search committee to find a new AD. And on the diamond tonight, Angels hosting the Indians pick up the action. Bottom of the second, Albert Pujols jumps on this Shane Bieber pitch, crushes it over the fence in center. Solo shot, career home run number 656, 4 shy of Willie Mays, but in the 6th, the Tribe's Yu Chang takes Justin Anderson deep, 3-run bomb, and the Halos, they fall 6-2, your final. Dodgers with the night off. They'll open series on the road tomorrow against the Orioles. And a reminder, you can see the boys in blue right here on KTLA this Saturday when the Dodgers are in New York to take on the Mets. Our coverage starts at 3. By the way, the Diamondbacks lost to the Mets tonight, so the Dodgers can clinch the NL West with a win tomorrow. Quick break. Still to come tonight. With Antonio Brown leaving town, some Raider fans have found a way to fix his jersey. The creative solution trending tonight, coming up. And finally, trending tonight, some Raider fans found a creative solution to salvage their Antonio Brown jerseys now that he is gone from the team. They have blackened out part of the 4, turning it into a 1, and in doing so, it now resembles Hall of Fame receiver Tim Brown's jersey. Is number 81. So you got the brown, and you got the 81. And look, that works.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
I love the creativity.
Yeah.
See you at 11.
Thanks.
You just never know where the next great tech idea will come from. For instance, from the mind of a 16-year-old.
In this case, he's made an accessory for the iPad. Rich DeMiro tells us all about it in tonight's Tech Smart.
At just 16 years old,
it took a little bit of tweaking just to get like the thicknesses right, but the design itself is pretty simple.
Samson Taxon is less interested in Instagram.
So you would hit get started. It's going to boot up.
And more concerned with creating.
I'm very into technology, making things in general.
The Los Angeles area student has already made an iPhone game and an app to help you study.
Hi, I'm Sam, and I'm going to be your study partner today.
My grandfather was an electrical engineer, and he really got me into making things. But I've always had an interest in taking things apart, knowing how things work, and wanting to just create things that are new.
Which all led him to design this, a 3D printed iPad accessory called Grip, spelled GRP.
When I would start taking notes, I would be like, oh, I have my iPad, but where did my pencil go? I thought it was supposed to stay on.
On Apple's latest iPad Pro, the Apple Pencil magnetically attaches to the side, but it doesn't always stay there. So Samson designed the tiny stick-on grip and thought others might find it useful too. He placed the $10 accessory on Kickstarter.
I was expecting to sell 10, 15 at the most.
The item fully funded in the first day. Sales have since topped 500 units.
People who have received theirs are very happy with it. I've been getting more suggestions about changing the design.
And still, no one who bought one knows they're dealing with a junior in high school. Further proof, tech tools can help make anyone a success story.
It's amazing that people my age can get into this. You don't have to have a degree yet. You don't have to have experience working at a job. You can get started just with your phone or just with your computer.
And away you go. That is it for the news at 10.
Next at 11, a convicted killer released from prison. He served time for his wife's murder in Mexico. Now former Survivor producer Bruce Beresford Redmond is back home in Southern California. The exclusive details you'll see only on 5.
Plus, a dog dies in the care of a rover sitter. We hear from a heartbroken couple who's demanding answers after their beloved pug's mysterious death.